Welcome to the Play-Based Learning Podcast. I'm your host, Kristen R.B. Peterson, and maybe your new teacher bestie that is here to hype you up, maybe give you a motivating kick in the pants, and teach you all I know about play and childhood. I am here to help you challenge old and outdated practices and inspire you to create a truly developmentally appropriate early childhood environment that fosters creativity, curiosity, and joy in the children that you care for. Let's set the stage for a lifelong love of learning. Let's get going. Oh, welcome to the Play-Based Learning Podcast. I think I'm going to try out some new intros like that. Just like surprise people. Keep them like on their toes. Beverly Beck is joining me for part 2 of our 3-part creativity series. I sound like a newscaster. And have you ever tried to talk like a newscaster? Like, we are integrating creativity into early education and parenting. The how. That's what we're going to be talking about today. So,
Okay. Well done.
So we're going to talk about early childhood education, how we can implement creativity into early childhood, because in the last episode, if you didn't listen, please go listen to that one. We talked about why creativity is important and what it is. And this episode, we're going to talk about how we can implement some of creativity into our work with children and or our own children. So we're gonna chat about some different things about how we can implement, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for cutting in and helping me out there. My brain is like woo all over the place right now. So okay. I should have taken a beta blocker.
Basically, yes, that is me too. I had a panic attack earlier on, sort of, and I was just like, get those tablets into me.
I love that. Oh my goodness, we're too alike.
Sometimes the creativity just too much. The imagination just gets a little bit too excited. I need a little bit of help.
Well, and I think that's what's so wonderful about the ADHD brain. Like, we are the most creative beings because our brain just automatically floats everywhere all the time. So yeah. It's a gift. It really is.
It is a gift. It is a gift, and it's also a curse.
It is. Yeah. You just got to find somebody who can like level you out a little bit and like take care of things that you just can't because your brain is too wild.
Yeah, like parenting, dishes, washing clothes.
Yeah.
All those lovely, boring things that you have to do every day that is just not fun.
Do you want to know a secret?
What?
I have a house manager that comes and does all that for me.
That's awesome. That's an aspiration. I have a cleaner, but she was sick. She was come today and she was sick, which left me in waiting mode all day.
Oh no.
So anyway.
Okay, here we go.
Yes. Any help you can get is great.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so what are we talking about? So I wanted to sort of ask you and pick your brain a little bit about what you, with all your experience in the early childhood, early education classroom, what way you would set it up for ease of the kids just being creative and letting their own imaginations fly and go for it.
Okay, so there's 3 main ways I think that you can really get creativity flowing in your early childhood classroom. All right, so the first, of course, is play. Long amounts of uninterrupted free play time. And by long amounts, I'm talking in chunks of over 45 minutes. So when children come in, and the reason I say 45 is because when children come into an early childhood program and you have all of these amazing things set up for them to engage with, children will window shop. So they're going to like shop at all the different places to see what all is available to be able to play with. And they're going to go from thing to thing to thing to thing to thing and like bounce all around. Okay. So usually about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 30 minutes in, they will finally like really settle into maybe one thing And let's say that thing is that the example I love to give is they're playing tiger with their friends, or they're playing cheetah with their friends, and they're all cheetahs, and they're trying to organize themselves in this game. And they have to decide, like, who's going to be the mom cheetah, who's going to be the other mom cheetah, who's going to be the dad cheetah, who's going to be the grandma cheetah, who's going to be the baby cheetah. Well, I don't want to be the baby cheetah. Who's going to be the, I want to be the dog cheetah. Well, you can't be a dog cheetah because cheetahs are cats. Like, they have to go through this whole entire planning of what they're going to do, how they're going to like engage in this play. And that can take 10, 15 minutes on its own.
Yeah.
And by that time, like, usually it's like cleanup time after a half an hour. Like, half an hour seems to be what people do, but they haven't really gotten into the real good sticky learning, and you're cleaning up. So I believe it needs to extend beyond, like, 45 minutes is the bare minimum. It really needs to, like, our magical time was about 2 hours at Butterfly Hill, like in a given play time, like a chunk. And then we would get ready to go outside, and then we would let them play outside again. So large amounts of uninterrupted free play time is the number one way that we can really let children explore their creativity. Okay. The second one is loose parts. Are you familiar with loose parts, Beverly?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so for those of you who maybe aren't familiar with loose parts are just open-ended materials that we plop into the environment that really don't serve a specific purpose. They may serve a specific purpose in like real life. So like a really popular one is like napkin rings. Napkin rings, we use them as adults to put around a napkin if you're fancy and you have cloth napkins. But if you're a Christian, you aren't fancy and you use paper towels or your sleeve. So napkin rings don't really hold a purpose in my household, but other people's it does. But putting that into a child's environment, like, we don't need to tell them this is a napkin ring, right? We let them use it for what they want to use it for. The OG, I'm going to have you take a guess. What do you think the OG loose part is in an early childhood program? Every classroom has it. Or should.
OG loose parts. Ooh. Blocks.
Yeah, you got it. That's a loose part, because a block can be a roller skate, a block can be a hamburger, a block can be a cell phone, a block can be built into something. So that is like the most original loose part. And that is going to help foster children's creativity by letting them use those materials in whatever way they want to use those materials. One of the most coveted loose parts that we had, I found on the side of the road in a free box, was a curtain rod finale. So it's like, it was this giant,
What?
I know, okay. It was this giant pink gem, and you could screw it into the end of a curtain rod, like up at the top, to make it look pretty on the end. They call it a finale. So that was like a coveted loose part in our classroom. So, and it wasn't a curtain finale. They didn't know that. To them, it was like a giant piece of treasure. So loose parts are an amazing way to get creativity flowing in an early childhood classroom. And the last thing that I know you're going to love is process art.
Yes.
Not product-based. We don't want children doing craft projects that are teacher-directed. That is a creativity sucker. It's a creativity vampire. We don't want that. We want children to be able to use the materials that are out in any way, shape, or form that they want to use the materials and explore freely on their own. So process-based art, it's all about the process, right? It's intrinsically motivated, it's child-directed, and that is play, and that is like going to drive so much creativity, like beyond what an adult can even comprehend when they're children. Like, it is so fun to watch. So those are my top 3 ways to integrate creativity into early childhood education.
Awesome. I'm sitting here for like, because it's a podcast, you're listening, nodding my head, going, yes, yes. All of those things.
So is there anything you would add?
I was just going to say, like, uninterrupted time, like
Mm.
that that is the epitome of flow. Like,
Yeah.
the last thing you want to do is the last thing you like. Imagine if you're an adult and you are really into something, and someone comes over and takes it off you and goes, "Let's have a
Yeah.
look at me." I'm like, there'd be a few choice words said, really, from my point of view. I would be like, I don't think so. Go away,
I know. Or for me, it's even if it's not something that I'm like doing as like a as play. So like if I am writing an email and I am like pounding away at those keys and somebody comes over and tries to talk to me, like don't try to talk to me while I'm writing an email. Like I'm in
No,
email flow. I think that's different than creative flow. For some reason, like writing an email is flow to me. And I will
yeah,
not know anything that you said if you try to interrupt me.
no,
Nothing.
no,
Mm-mm.
no. And but the thing is, it's like when kids are in school and they're just getting the hang of something, and then you have to change up the subject just because the curriculum says children can only you have an attention span for 25 minutes, or it's just, yeah, it's especially if they're at home, or if they're out somewhere in the park, or if they're doing anything and they seem to be really into it.
Mm-hmm.
They're totally in the zone learning.
They are. They're
And
learning so much. And even though it doesn't look like academic, like I think a lot of times people think that learning is just academic, like it's just those cognitive skills. But
no,
learning in early childhood is like the whole child. It's everything. It's physical, it's social and emotional, it's
yeah,
language, it's literacy, it's talking, it's having a conversation, it's running, it's jumping. Like every single thing that they are doing is learning.
yeah,
It doesn't have to be ABCs and one, two, threes.
no, absolutely not. I think,
Yeah.
and yeah, I think that uninterrupted time where they're in flow, and they're being so creative and thinking, and they're taking it through all of their senses, and it's just the feedback that they get. Just, yeah, that just
Yeah.
don't interrupt them anymore.
No. No. Leave them
Yeah,
be. Oh, yes.
yeah. And blocks, love blocks. Blocks are
Yeah.
amazing. Blocks
Hmm.
for painting, blocks for building, blocks for building with shaving foam, blocks for making um like roads or balance beams, or
Yeah.
like so many things. Love blocks.
Absolutely.
And
Yes.
yes, all about the process. Definitely. The process art is it is so there's so much more to process art than actually just messing about on a bit of paper with different color paints. You
Yeah.
you might think that it looks just like a mess, but actually, again, they're taking in all those senses. They're feeling the paint. They're thinking, is it cool? Is it is it slimy? Is it thick? What's going on? How does it react? How does it attach to this paper? Can I get it off my hands? They're building up a tolerance as well if they are don't like messy things. I'm I'm all about the process art. I think
Yeah.
it doesn't
Me
matter
too.
what it looks like. And I just done a workshop there with 15 kids a couple of weeks ago, and like we had old socks, and we had stuffing, and we had elastic bands, and I was like, so what can we do with these? And I sort of, you question what, give them their ideas. Like even today, someone was asking in a group on Facebook about, I got all these stamps that donated. What am I supposed to do with them? You're just like,
Yeah.
so I was like, ream out a list of different things that she could do with them. And yeah, it's just about the ideas, and forgetting that as an adult, there's not just one answer. Just
Yes.
there's so many different ways you can do something. But yeah, so I'll not rant on about process art, but it is so important to do that, because it actually is not even about the art. It's about them building up their self-esteem, learning to feel, trying out new practices. It's building up their confidence.
Yeah.
It's yeah, love it. Love it, love it, love
Do you want
it.
to know one really cool thing? So now we can kind of shift into like parents of young children,
Mhm.
at-home caregivers, the guardians, if there's any of those listening, and how they can incorporate um how they can just embrace and like foster creativity at home. One of the things that, because I have older children, 9 and up, and one of the things that we started doing, closer to the end of the school year was called sticker journaling. And I saw somebody on Instagram doing it, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is like really great because you don't have to be skilled or feel like you need to be skilled at drawing or painting or anything like that. You're just putting, it's like sticker collaging, really." So I ordered a ton of stickers off the internet, and they showed up, and I got little tiny I don't know, they're little craft notebooks that are blank pages that like
Yeah,
how many
cute.
inches, I'm holding it up but you can't see it if you're listening. It's like about
A6 would it be?
maybe, yeah, like 6 inches tall by 4 inches, or maybe it's 1, 2, 3, I bet they're like 5 by 3,
Hmm.
5 inches by 3. Anyway, like little tiny notebook, like a little journal, like a blank page journal. And then we just like would sit down after school and we would all sticker together and we would create our own sticker pages. And it's so fun. We haven't done it in a while, but we still have a bajillion stickers and I need to get them back out. But that was just a really fun way with my older children to keep that creativity just a little bit longer.
Yeah.
What other ideas do you have? What do you do with your kids?
Um, my kids like sensory stuff as
Mm.
well. So
Mhm.
we would do a lot of making, like putting stuff in the freezer in water and then just chipping away at it and melting it and stuff with wee pipettes and everything.
Yep.
Um, they love anything messy, actually. My youngest and my oldest, so 10 and a half and 7 and a half, love anything to do with messiness.
Okay.
Um, and then one of the things that I really like actually is if you have like washing up liquid and water, and I can't remember the ratios, I'll have to look it up, but I think it's
Okay, water and what did you say?
water, like for like a washing up liquid
Washing up liquid? What's
for
that?
the dishes. If you're washing your dishes, your
Oh,
plates
like
and everything.
dish soap?
Dish soap, yes.
Yeah. Oh my God, I love it.
So
Washing
dish
up
soap,
liquid? Washing
yeah,
up liquid?
yeah.
That is the cutest way to call it. I'm gonna start saying that. Mm.
So stick them in the and whisk them up, and then you get like this bubbly foam, and it's
Yeah,
so
yeah,
fun because it's like lovely. It smells nice. It's clean.
yeah,
It's just so much fun. And but yeah, something like that actually helps if you are going somewhere, or it's with transitions, or
yeah.
getting ready for going back to school is actually a big thing in our house, because we drove past it the other day and everyone was just like, no, no, no,
I
no,
get.
no, 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 no. I'm like, right, okay. Because when you're a parent and you're diverging kids, it's like you're already worrying about the next year before they
I
even got off
know.
the year
I
before.
I feel you, and also when you're, so I have some neurodivergent children as well. Um, but also when you believe in creativity and play so much and realize
Yeah,
that you send them to school 7 hours a day and they get none of it, like that
mhm,
is also very hard.
it is.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know the homeschooling is massive in the US compared to over here, but um, I just don't think I would be able to do it, even though I am a trained teacher. It would drive me insane. Like I'm ready for the hills, as they say over here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
Mm,
love my kids, but I need a little bit of
you
space
needed space. I do
sometimes.
too.
Mhm.
I mean, like, I think most people do.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, so that's just one of those things like I grapple with all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
I think I remember when the midwife saying whenever I gave birth, she goes, "Oh, baby comes out and the guilt goes in." It's like, yep, that's accurate. Um, but yeah, sensory stuff for us. Like they love rice if it's going out of date. So I just go and look in the cupboard and see what we've got. If we've got any flour, we make some dough. It's just so easy, Play-Doh. Or if we've got some rice, we just stick it in a sandwich bag or a Ziploc bag and put some paint in with it and mix it around, and it's dry in no time. And you just have some empty cans or some spoons, and it's so easy to just play with it. And it doesn't matter what age they are.
Yeah.
Like from they were no age, from they were like 3 they love that type of thing
Yeah.
before that as well. But and then like my eldest is 10 and a half now, and he still loves it. It's really just calming. You know, my husband loves it. He's 45. Stick your hand in and it just feels nice.
Yeah. You know, I
Yeah.
think that so we live on a lake. So a lot of our summer lately, like my two littles, we go outside in the afternoon and they swim with me while I lay out because I love the sun and I love being in the sun and it just like makes my life so much better. So they'll come out and they'll swim, but that's like really honestly it's like to them it's a creative thing. They were like they brought out the other day these so my son Knox, he's 9, he still has like a whole bunch of toys, and so he has like all of these bugs and creatures. And they brought out like 30 some of those. And it started out as a game. Like I had to throw them all, and then they would go and hunt for all 33 of them or whatever. But then it morphed into this really cool thing where they were creating under the water on they both had goggles on, and under the water they were creating they found these poker chips, because we also like I'll throw metal things out there, like safe metal things, and then we have an underwater metal detector, so they'll hunt for money or whatever, coins, but we had some metal poker chips. So those were out there. They found 2 metal poker chips with the thing, and then they were using those as tables under the water for their little turtles and bug creature things. And so then they would take their little plastic animals and they would set up little like play scenes on the floor of the lake
It's so
for
cute.
it was so cute. And it was just like, oh my gosh, I love this. Like this is their play. And they're
Yeah.
like 9 and 13. How adorable. But it's like a giant water table in my backyard.
Yeah, it totally is. And I read somewhere actually that swimming is so good for all humans, but especially neurodivergent humans, because it's a whole body sensory experience because it
Yeah.
puts the pressure on your skin. It's like deep
Uh-huh.
pressure. Um, so yeah, amazing. The water, like that's one of my phrases is just add water.
Yeah.
So no matter what it is, if it's soap, a bar of soap at the sink, like I know when my
Yeah.
kids were little, they literally played with that for an hour or more,
Yeah.
just washing their hands and seeing the water turn a different color,
Yeah.
playing with the bubbles and putting up their arms and all over themselves and
Yeah.
just simple little thing. It doesn't need to be complicated.
No.
Just simple, simple. Keep it. Look in your drawer. You've got saucepans, sieves. You've got
Yes.
like ice cubes. You've got old spices are really cool because they make potions, or when you those stuff at the back of the cupboard you forget about. Like that's play, just right there.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, and it's not just it's not just for fun. It's actually building up their
Yeah.
emotional
Yes.
and it's an emotional outlet as well as building up their self-esteem and
Mhm.
being able to express that creativity and be able to tap into, as you say, like playing with mixed age children. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's just so much fun. I could talk about it all day,
Oh my
but
gosh, absolutely. We have, so one of the things that we have in our house to kind of like foster creativity is, well, we kind of have like a process art cabinet, and it's just full of different
mhm,
materials that the children, they can pull whatever out of there and create with.
yeah,
At the ages are that they are now, it's generally a lot of either painting or coloring. Um, and the sticker journaling, of course. But yeah, I've tried to get my son Knox, when he was in preschool, he used to love to do hot glue gun sculptures at preschool.
mhm,
We used low temp glue guns so that they didn't burn their fingers, of course. But I've tried to get him like to do that here at home, and he doesn't really have any, he doesn't really want to. So I don't force it, of course, because when you force something, then it's not intrinsic anymore and it's not play. And it's
yeah,
not, you just don't have like the same creative muscles. So,
yeah, no, totally.
mm-mm.
um I actually I was doing some research and stuff for today, and there's a few interesting things about um creativity and brain growth and the neural
Mm.
connections that it makes between improving cognitive flexibility and problem solving skills. Um,
Huh.
Let me see. There was a study from Drexel University found that creating art significantly reduces stress-related hormones and enhances cognitive functions. So it's it's not just for fun.
No, it's not.
Harvard, yeah, like Harvard, another one says how engaging in creative activities improves mental health by reducing stress, anxiety, depression, while boosting brain function.
Mm.
So they are learning, they are growing, and they are developing. But there's one thing, if you don't mind me talking about it, is the different types of imagination.
I'm excited to hear about this. Tell me more.
So this is just something that I came across very recently, actually. But there's actually 8 types of imagination
Mm.
described by Professor Murray Hunter. So the first one, I usually say this wrong, but it's effectuative imagination. So
Effectuative.
effectuative, yeah.
Oh,
So it's effectuative.
okay. Okay.
So it's putting old ideas together in new ways to solve problems or create something new. So if you had like Lego sets or something, take them all apart and create something new,
Mm.
for
Mm-hmm.
example.
Mm-hmm.
So that is effectuative imagination. There's intellectual or constructive imagination, which is um, helps you think about ideas and theories. And it's like using your imagination to understand and learn new things. So, for example, it's like imagining how dinosaurs lived by
Yeah.
thinking about toy dinosaurs and fossils that you've seen in books and everything,
Yeah.
and creating that constructive sort of intellectual, putting all the pieces together.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3 is imaginative fantasy. So imaginative play.
Yeah.
Um, it's when you create stories and worlds that are entirely make believe, full of magic and full of wonder, like
Aw.
dreaming of a world where animals can talk and have adventures and have little conversations back and forward, and little tea parties underneath the lake, that type of thing.
Yep.
Then there is empathy or emotional imagination. So my daughter and I were just talking about this earlier this morning, actually. Empathy imagination helps you understand how other people feel by
Mm.
imagining yourself in their situation, like thinking about how your friend feels when they're sad and imagining ways to make them feel better,
Okay.
or a bit like you kind of maybe saying about the tiger scenario where you're on,
Yeah.
where like
Yeah.
you want to be the tiger baby, and they're working things out like that. Number 5 then is strategic imagination, which helps you plan and think about the future. It's like imagining different paths and choosing the best one. So it's like planning a treasure hunt,
Ooh, yeah. Okay.
all the different clues that you need to hide to make it
Okay.
fun and cohesive.
Yeah.
And number 6 is emotional imagination, which lets you create ideas based on your feelings and emotions. So, like drawing a picture of a sunny day when you're happy, or a rainy day when you're sad, and making that connection between the emotions and what you're drawing or
Interesting.
making or
Okay. Yep.
creating.
Mm-hmm.
Number 7 then is dream imagination. Pardon me. So it happens when you're asleep
Mm.
and your mind makes up all kinds of stories and visuals. And I don't know about you, but I have quite a vivid
I
imagination.
have the wildest dreams, and I will like text my partner after I have some of them sometimes, and he's like, it is so detailed. Like there's so many details. And he's like, wow, like you are so lucky you get like an actual movie in your head every night. I'm like, I know,
Yeah,
it's great. Except for when they're scary, because it's really real when they're scary.
really, really real. There's
Mhm.
actually a funny thing that came up on Instagram there yesterday. It was a couple, a married couple, and the guy apologized to the wife for cheating on her in her dream.
Oh my gosh, funny.
Ah, um, so dream imagination is like dreaming that you're a superhero saving the world when you're fast asleep or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And then the last one is memory imagination. So that's where you take your memories and create something
Oh.
new, some new ideas, some new stories by mixing them together with new thoughts. So like remembering a fun day at the zoo and imagining what it would be like if the animals could talk and they had a conversation and a story to
Ooh.
tell you. Um,
Hmm.
so they are the 8 types
That's
of
interesting.
imagination.
I did not know any. I didn't know. I mean, I obviously know there's different types of play, but I didn't
Yeah.
know. Like, and one of the types of play is imaginative play, but I didn't know
Mhm.
it could break down like imagination into all of
Yeah.
those types. That's wild.
It is wild. I was like, really? Whenever I discovered it too, I was like, wow, that's so cool.
That is so cool. Our
Because it helps
brains
you
are
understand.
fascinating. Like,
Yeah.
oh, there's so many layers to our brains and so many theories. And, it's such a fun, it's so fun to learn. And that's play for me. It might not be play for other people. It seems like it's play for you too.
Me
And
too.
yeah,
Yes, no, absolutely. I think learning about it is fascinating because then you start putting the pieces together and start thinking, oh, that's how that used to be for me, or that's what it's like, or that's what they're going through, or yeah,
yeah,
you're able to kind of then look at a situation slightly differently,
yeah.
I
I also
think.
think it's really interesting. I've never really thought that empathy is actually a
Mm,
form of imagination. Like you
yeah,
are imagining yourself in their shoes, like
yeah,
putting yourself in their shoes. That is what empathy is. And I've never really thought of it as far as
yeah.
being like you've got to have a little bit of creative thinking in order to do that.
Do that, yeah. Yeah, because
Hmm.
we were talking about the Inside Out movie this morning. Um, the kids are fascinated by what the emotions are going to be in the next one.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, definitely going to be nostalgia because she was there.
I know, I love nostalgia. Oh my gosh, she was so cute.
They're trying to figure out what's going to be next and what the other emotions are when, and they're trying to figure out, is it going to be when you're an adult, or is it going to be when you're old, or so they're already using the information they've got and
Yeah.
figuring out.
Imagine what it could be.
Yeah, yeah. So that's always fun too. Um,
Hmm. And
and it is,
imagination, yeah, it really is a form of
yeah,
creativity.
yeah. Well, it is.
Do you
It's
think
kind of
it's the
like,
basis of creativity?
I'm not 100% sure. I'm not. I don't. But I would say that imagination. Um,
Do you
I would.
think that like it
I would
has to
probably
have
say
one of those eight, like in order for a creative thing to happen, does it have to happen within one of those eight forms of imagination?
oh, it's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know, something to
I
think
don't
about.
know. Yeah, we'll have to find out and get back to you.
Yeah, and maybe there's never been like a definitive theory on that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Don't know if anybody
Well, we can
knows.
come up with our own theory.
Yeah, but yeah. Oh, we're off on a tangent.
Oh my
Um,
God.
but it is so cool to think that there's 8 forms of imagination, and I didn't know about it until I was like 43 or something.
Do you want to know? Do you want to know? Okay, if did I just cut you off? Did you have more to that
No,
thought?
no, no, go.
Do you want to know what I just learned
Well,
this year? Because of the Olympics, my whole life I thought water polo was people on horses playing polo on horses in water. Like
mm-hmm.
I imagined horses like tromping around in huge puddles, but also swimming in pools with people on their back. And then Knox is like, I've been loving watching water polo. And he's like, let's watch water polo. So we turn it on and it's people in a pool with a ball throwing it. And I was like,
No
I
horses.
always thought water polo had horses in it.
I can see where you would think that. I think maybe you're mixing up your memory imagination there, though.
Right? Isn't that hilarious though? That like I'm 44 and I finally just figured out what water polo is.
Yeah, I'm
Hmm.
44 too. I'm exactly that. But I've just found this out last year. But it was funny. I don't know whether this is relevant or not, but I just literally found out a couple of years ago off my cousin, who's a maths teacher, how to figure out what your left is.
Yeah, it makes an L.
I did not know that all the
Oh,
way
you
through school.
didn't.
No.
Oh my. Yeah, that's a
Italian.
good, that's a I've
That's a good
used that
one.
with my kids even at different points of time. Mm-hmm.
I do now, but I didn't know it until I was like
Oh my
35 or
goodness.
something.
That is so funny. Yeah, the one that looks like an L when you look at it.
Mhm. I
Probably
could have
not the
saved me so
best.
many arguments.
Probably not the best for like dyslexic children who reverse letters, but yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what is there's so many different ways that you can bring creativity into your day, into early education and parenting, and be able to just pick something up and leave it for the kids to sort of figure out what they want to do with it.
Yes.
You don't have
Absolutely.
to be the one to come up with the ideas all the time.
No, get your adult nose out of it and just like let them engage with the materials and
Yeah,
it's the best learning possible. Yeah.
absolutely.
I'm really excited for our next episode. We're going to chat about what creativity looks like for adults.
Mhm.
So that's what you get to stay tuned for the next episode with Beverly Beck. Beverly, until then, where can they find you? Where can they connect with you?
Just send me a little message, send me a hello at happy little humans, hello at happylittlehumans.com, or find me on Instagram at happy little humans play.
Amazing. Thanks for being
Thank
here
you. Thank
and
you.
stay tuned for next time.
Bye.
Bye. If you liked what you heard today, share this podcast with your coworkers, admin, or maybe even your partner. And I love getting 5-star reviews so more people can embrace play. Hit follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode. Or connect with me on Instagram or my website, KristenRBPeterson.com. Until next time.